So we got a question from a viewer recently. It's from a friend whose name I can't read, but it looks like a tiny little robot head, which is very impressive. They asked, could you guys do the shoe throwing rule in college football? They want to know, is there even a rule in the books? And why do some referees officiate it differently? The examples that they bring up, I can't stress enough, I'm not the one bringing this up.
You're the messenger, yeah.
LSU versus Florida, which should now be clear why I've asked you to join me on this. Ryan, would you mind explaining to anyone unfamiliar how LSU and Florida have anything to do with shoe throwing?
So LSU comes to play Florida in 2020 in a game that is closer than many would have expected at that point, given the trajectories of both teams. It's tied in the fourth quarter, and Florida gets what appears to be a very important third down stop.
That's great.
It seemed great until several flags were thrown because, as it turned out, Marco Wilson, in pure exhilaration for a moment of triumph, had decided to huck the ball carrier's shoe a good 20, 30 yards away downfield. Just really put his whole back into it.
Oh man. And unrelated, where'd you go for undergrad?
I did in fact go to the University of Florida.
Oh, go Gators. That's awesome.
Hey,
Emmett
yeah,
went there.
It was great. It was great.
Easily the best part about this is the referee's breakdown of it, because he very specifically says,
throwing the LSU player's shoe 20 yards down the field.
Well, it suggests that there is some sort of sliding scale, that it's sort of like
Sure.
the Bozo Grand Prize game, where it's like, if you just throw the shoe 3 yards,
right.
that's not a penalty. If you can throw it a full 100 yards, maybe you actually get points. Maybe that's so if you throw it out of the stadium, it's like, wow, automatic win.
They clearly said this is unsportsmanlike conduct.
Sure.
And going back to the question about is this specifically in the rules? Looking at the rule book, they do their best to make this a very catch-all concept. To read it verbatim, there shall be no unsportsmanlike conduct or any act that interferes with orderly game administration on the part of the players, subs, coaches, etc. It's a blanket statement.
It's sort of a no dicking around rule. In the same way that if you're in the backseat on a road trip and your brother is up in your face but not touching you, the fact that he's not touching you will not, the rules are not written that way.
Sure.
You are being asked to stop because you are causing problems.
Which is a really good metaphor, because the rule book does not specifically say don't throw a shoe, but they do go into specifics in a way where you really start to question,
should there be more shoe-related
Yes.
verbiage? Okay.
Yes. And so I do want to quickly highlight some of the best language used, where if a referee witnesses this, they know it's 15 yards worth of penalty. Inciting an opponent or spectators in any other way, such as simulating the firing of a weapon or placing a hand by the ear to request recognition.
College football hates mimes. Always has. Too French.
This ain't art school. Any delayed, excessive, prolonged, or choreographed act by which a player attempts to focus attention upon themselves.
Does that mean you can encourage the crowd to clap for somebody else?
Oh, if you're trying to get them to give somebody else their due?
Yeah.
I think that would kind of depend on how patronizing you're going about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you were next to the butt fumble when it happened and you're just kind of yeah, come on, let's hear it.
Everybody clap for this butt. Hey, everybody, get out of your seats. Make some noise for this butt.
There's another line that specifies going into the stands to interact with spectators or bowing at the waist after a good play.
Maybe you're a butler by training and you just happen to be playing college football. These things, it's muscle memory at that point.
When you're listening to the majors for these student athletes, there's a lot of sports management or sports business. And then there's butlery.
Buttling, yeah.
I mean, they got a whole college.
They literally butler. That's right. The only major. That's where Alfred went.
So, go back to the initial question. No, it does not specify you can't throw a shoe.
Yeah.
But the best part about that is it means some refs will call it. And we also know there's enough room that not every referee will. And so they also point out the Tennessee BYU game, which I was unfamiliar with, from 2019, I believe, where Tennessee, their quarterback, runs the ball, gets tackled. The tackler removes the guy's shoe and then launches it at the sideline. Going into it, I fully expected this to be a subtle thing.
Mm-hmm.
But on close inspection, not only does dude launch it, one of the refs is just watching like the whole trajectory of the thing.
I think it's maybe the most human thing a referee could do in that moment, which is just have the reaction of, never seen that before. That's pretty wild. Look at that. Just threw a shoe. It's very purposeful, I think it's fair to say. And it's interesting because in the LSU example, the Florida player throws the shoe in what appears to be celebration. Like a good thing has happened for Florida and he is directly responsible for it. Whereas in the BYU example, Tennessee has just picked up a first down and it looks like this defender is like, oh, dang it. Oh, shoot.
There is anger, whether it's at the world in general, whether it's at this one shoe.
This cleat killed my grandfather and I'll never forgive him. I think this means there should be a throwing shoe on the field at all times. Like, if this is a natural urge, why not sort of say, okay, does anybody have anything they need to work out? There's the throwing shoe if you do. Don't throw somebody else's shoe. That shoe right there, that's the one we throw when we have big feelings.
You go to the ref in advance and say, just so y'all are aware, this is our throwing shoe today.
Yes.
You see us throw it.
Yes.
This is the most sportsmanlike conduct you can imagine.
The other thing I like about the BYU play is Tennessee's quarterback goes right to the ref and is like, he threw my shoe. And it doesn't appear that the officials care at all. The officials are like, you know what? Everybody's having a tough day. I'm refereeing a Tennessee game in 2019. I don't want to be here either. You got a first down. You want a first down and your shoe back? That's greedy.
God gave you two shoes for a reason. I do wonder how much of that ties into, with Florida LSU, there's a lot on the line, end of game. So if somebody throws a shoe at that moment, that feels like it actually represents taunting.
What if Marco Wilson had immediately gone, retrieved the shoe, and brought it back? Like, is there a way that you can undo your error and because this is one of the few places where, you hit a quarterback late, you can't unhit him.
Sure.
It's not like he threw it into the sun.
Right. But again, had he thrown it into the sun, no flag. Impressive feat.
Yeah.
Also,
shoe awesome.
No evidence.
That's true. What shoe?
Real quick, so they threw the shoe, all that. What was the actual result?
So LSU's drive was extended. They end up kicking a very long field goal in the fog that ends up being the difference in the game, and they beat Florida on the road, thanks in very large part to a 15-yard penalty for a thrown shoe. Stupid fucking shoe. Stupid goddamn shoe.
Well, look who it is. You look great. Whatever you're doing, it's working. And just in case that glow of yours is because of weird rules, here's some more rule-related shoe throwing for you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Secret Base on YouTube, and we'll see you soon.